Joining us now is the Iron Lady herself. She put a tweet out, first time in like a year. Germaine de Randamie. Germaine, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Germaine, you're in Holland right now, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to say, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this. I went to Holland, I don't know, a year or two ago. Maybe people in Holland don't agree, but I think it might be the perfect country.
I agree. I couldn't agree more with you.
People just know how to get along there. More so, I mean, I'm sure there's fights and everything else, but generally speaking, they know how to live around each other better than other places I've been to.
Well, I don't know a lot about other places, but I do agree with you. We get along pretty well here. You know, we're very social. We like to socialize with each other.
All right, so out of nowhere, July 27th, you tweeted, looking forward to getting back in the UFC octagon. It's been too long. And then you tagged Raquel Pennington, waiting on you. Let's do this. All right, let's back up a step.
Right.
We haven't seen you in the octagon. I was there since UFC 208, but I know you've been out more recently because of an injury. What was the injury, and what is the state of that?
It was a hand injury. I was camping with it for a very, very long time. So I had surgery on. I just couldn't bear the pain anymore. I could not train through it, and my hand was swelling up. I couldn't even put my hand in a glove. So I decided to go along and have surgery, and everything went perfectly. You know, I was ahead of schedule, and then everything went backwards. The hand started to work against me. I couldn't train anymore. It was hurting again. So my doctors told me, you know, I had to take some time off and relax the hand a little bit and give it time to heal, because, I mean, I've been fighting for 19 years. I had a lot of battles, so, yeah, some damage was done. But right now, I'm cleared by the doctors, also by the UFC doctors, and I'm ready to go. I'm fully back in training, and I couldn't be happier. I feel great and getting better and better every day.
Were you worried at any point with the hand injury that was it for your career? You wouldn't be able to get back to competing?
To be honest, there has been some times that I was afraid, absolutely. But I try to stay very positive. I'm a very positive human being, and you know, I always kept hope. You know, I knew I had to be patient. I knew it was going to be a big test for me, and to be patient. But I had the patience, and now I feel great, and I can punch again, so it feels good.
Okay, so that explains the injury. So now let's talk about this. The injury has kept you out for some time. I wonder, certainly no one is happy about injuries, but did you need the time away from MMA, given how toxic things had become after your fight with Holm?
Partially, yeah. I mean, it's been, you know, there has been a period that was very negative, a very dark period. But, you know, I have a very busy job too. And I go to school with that job along. So I was pretty busy too. You know, I wanted to get my degree for my job and become a police officer here in Holland. And that's what I am right now. And so I work full time. So that takes a lot of time too. You know, go to school and, you know, work. So that also was a big part of the reason why it took a little bit longer.
When you say dark, what was, I can imagine, but give me a sense of things. Why was it so dark?
I mean, I fight because I truly love fighting. I love fighting with all my heart. It's the first love and the biggest love of my life. And I love to share what I love so much with other people that love the same thing as much as I do. But, you know, you have spectators and you have the people that do it. But we all love this sport so much. I never, but never in my entire life or human being, I had the intention that people thought it was okay to say the things they say to me. I've never, ever wanted to hurt anybody in any kind of way. Not Holly, not anybody. So, yeah, it was a very dark time.
I saw an interview you did with a Dutch media outlet, people were telling you, like they were giving you death threats, and they were telling you, that you should commit suicide? I mean, I have trouble even saying that because it's so ghastly, but that's true?
Yeah, they absolutely did. And they even made pictures of a gravestone with my name and date of death on it. So, yeah, it was pretty tough. Yeah, that's not cool, you know? People telling you worthless, and yeah, it's tough. But at the same time, like I say, you know, I'm a very positive person, and being able to sometimes share a message with people to let people know that it's not okay. Nobody likes to hear those things. And some people, I think, don't realize how much impact those words can have on somebody. I have a very great support group behind me, people that love me and surround me with love. But there are people, children, you know, that maybe don't have that or have a bad period in life. That can happen to any one of us. If somebody tells them to commit suicide or tell them they're worthless, maybe they decide to act. And that's the scariest thing about it.
Hmm. Let's rewind all the way to that day in Brooklyn, and then I know it's terrible, but I promise we'll work up to the positivity of today. I promise.
Don't worry. It's okay.
All right. And I appreciate your candor, because I know this can be some difficult things to discuss. But here's what I would say. You won that fight against Holly all the way back then. If you could go back in time, would you still fight for that title knowing all this would happen?
Yes, I would still make the same decisions.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Tell me why, because after that, things fell apart. You decided that you would. Okay, you said afterwards you would not fight Cyborg, and then they stripped you, and then you had. It was just a bit of a mess. I think you can agree. Why would you still do the same things?
Because it makes me the person that I am today. I still stand for what I believe. And if you look back at any interview that I gave before that fight, before the fight with Holly, in every interview I've always said, I go back to 135. And all of a sudden it was such a big deal, which I absolutely understand. And that's on the side note of the whole Cyborg thing, you know? But the most important thing is to stand for your decisions. And I stand for every decision I make. Every decision you make in life has consequences. And I knew the decision that I made would have consequences. Did I know that it was going to be that bad? I mean, not being stripped of the title, but all the negative things people said. Did I expect that to happen? Absolutely no. Do I wish that upon anybody? Never, ever, ever. You shouldn't say those things to people. Would I still do it all over again and make the same decision? Yes, I would. Absolutely. And I don't disagree with my decision. I fully stand behind it.
So the only thing where we disagree, and I promise this is the only one, I understand your reasoning. I understand your commitment to principle. I frankly admire it. The only thing I can't wrap my head around is, why take a title fight if you have no intentions of defending it against the #1 contender? That's the only part I don't get.
Which I completely understand. But the whole part was I wanted to fight Amanda Nunes because I lost fair and square to her. She's a great champion. And I thought this would be my chance to fight Amanda.
Fair enough. Day. You mean at 45 or back at 35?
35.
Got it. Okay. So here you are, all these many months later. I asked about the injury and the time off being good. Was the time off good for not the mental health, for your technical progression? Like, where are you as a fighter now?
I honestly believe I'm mentally and physically stronger than I've ever been before.
And why is that?
I walk around right now at run 147, 146. I feel in great shape. I absolutely do.
Okay. And you're ready to get back in there. If the UFC called you today, you could say yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Pretty safe to assume they probably won't offer you a title fight, right?
Fair enough.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
How come?
I think for me, as a person right now, the most important thing is to get back in that octagon.
Now,
And
you
as
want
you
to
know,
go ahead.
I have my eyes set.
Okay, sorry, I was cutting you off there. I apologize. You have called out Raquel
Don't worry.
Pennington.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
The
Yes,
Skype
absolutely.
delay is a bit there. Okay, well, why Raquel Pennington? What's the case there?
Well, it's not the case. Well, it goes a little bit back. In the past, a couple of her fights dropped out, and they needed an opponent. And a couple of times I offered, and for some reason, I never got the fight. Let me say, first of all, I have the utmost respect for Raquel Pennington. In my eyes, she is a true warrior. I mean, look at her last fight. She battled. She really battled. And I think style-wise, we are a great matchup. I absolutely believe that. She comes to fight, and that's what I like about her. I mean, she just comes off a title fight. I think we're both in a good position to fight each other. I think it's the right time to fight each other. And it would be an honor for me, absolutely an honor, to fight with such a warrior as she.
In your mind, where are you inside that division today?
To be honest, I'm absolutely not worried about that. The only thing I want is get back in that octagon and have fun. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not worried about a title fight. You know, I know I need to win a couple fights. But for me, the most important thing right now is to get back in there and have fun again.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't get the Pennington fight, you're still willing to get out there and compete soon, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
It's just that the Pennington fight would be your preference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there is interest from the UFC in that fight. So it's up to Raquel. You know, I come to Denver if she wants. I come to hostile territory. I'll fight her there. I mean, Colorado is at elevation, right? I live below sea level. I mean, if she even wants, we can make it a 5-rounder. I just want to get back in there.
You said the UFC has expressed interest. I'm wondering, what have they said to you? And B, what is your relationship with the UFC like today?
Oh, it's still good. It's still good. I mean, I'm not angry at them. I mean, it's nothing personal. They're a company. You know, business has to go through. And we all know that. There's no hostile anything. We talked about fighting. They asked me if I was ready, and I told them I was ready.
All right, fair enough.
And I also told them yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You are the interview subject. I'm sorry. This technology is great, but it's also terrible. Please finish your thought.
Well, that's the Dutch connection. It's nothing to do with you guys. Don't worry. And I also expressed my my wishes, and I hope they get along, and maybe they ask Raquel.
You know what's crazy is that coming out of kickboxing, and to this day, of course, your reputation in kickboxing is incredible. You're maybe one of the best to ever do it, and you always will be. It's going to be a long time before someone matches what you did. I wonder if you feel like this whole episode has made people forget about that. Like, what do you think this has done to your reputation, this whole thing?
Well, to be honest, I agree with you. I think a lot of people forget what my record is. I'm sorry, in kickboxing. But at the same time, for me as a person, I know what I have accomplished in my life, and I know for me, my career doesn't stand or fall by Holly Holm or Chris Cyborg. It's a bad spot. And it happened. But I have to go, and we have to move on. I mean, life is too short to just hang in one moment. I mean, I have a beautiful career. I fought a man. I'm undefeated in kickboxing, and I have many knockouts. I fought the best of the very best in the world. I mean, I got to fight in the UFC. I got the headline in UFC card. I mean, I can say I'm blessed, and I get to share my love with so many other people. I mean, wouldn't you say you'd be blessed if you were me?
I would, except I'm a relentlessly negative person because I'm American, and you are relentlessly positive. It's pretty incredible to watch. So let me end on this, if I may, Germaine. It sounds like you want to fight because you still love to fight, and you want to fight for you because it's something you enjoy. You're not fighting to erase or change people's opinions. You're fighting strictly on your terms for you.
Yes, and for the people that just love to see fighting. I'm not just fighting for me, I also fight for so many other people. I mean, people that have been bullied, you know, and my message is always to people, no, there's always going to be people that are going to tell you you cannot do it. There will always be. I have faced those people so many times in my life. Even before I started doing MMA, a lot of people told me, you will never make it, you can never do it. But I made it, and I did it, and I'm still going to do it. So if I get to share that, and maybe I can change one person's mind, and they start to believe that they can do it, and they will follow their dreams, I think my life and my mission is accomplished.
Well, I have to say, I appreciate your candor and your willingness to address these issues. I'm sorry you had to face some of these darker times, as you alluded to, but you've been smiling this whole interview. Your positivity is pretty noticeable, I have to say.
Well, yeah, you know, die with memories, not dreams. I live by that. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time, Germaine. I look forward to seeing you in the octagon again.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too. All right. There she goes.